This week saw the Phase 2 reopening of Connecticut and more businesses in the state. We talked to a minority-owned business in New London about how they've fared during COVID-19 and their views on Black Lives Matter. Plus, a look at some of the top stories from around the region. This is Connecticut East This Week. Hello, I'm Brian Scott Smith. June 17th saw the Phase 2 reopening of more businesses in the state of Connecticut. Many businesses, large and small, have struggled through the closures brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. I visited the Green Room Restaurant and Bar, a minority-owned business based in New London, and spoke to the three owners, Jonye, Tondra and Shakim, about how they've managed to keep their business going, their relationship with the city's police department as a local business, and their views on Black Lives Matter. So we're here at the Green Room, which is owned by the three of you. 1 year into business, or in fact less than 1 year into business, and you, like every other business, were forced to shut down because of COVID-19. What went through your minds when it happened?
How are we going to get through this? What can we do to make money?
Basically the same, because it was on top of this, but we also have other jobs that we got laid from. So it was just like a lot to deal, but we kept going. We all were here. We were dedicated to, even if we knew at the time it was like families were going through stuff. So we did like a night where we had free kids meals for kids, just to show people that we're all struggling, but like if we can help ease that struggle a little, we'll do that. And at the same time, I think that makes people look at us and always want to support, because we want to support.
What did you do to get around it? You didn't close down completely, did you?
No, we didn't close down. We just buckled up what we can do and just try to go by the guidelines as far as the stipulations of keeping people away. But we kept the takeout with something that we haven't done before prior to the COVID thing. So it was kind of new for us having the takeout and deliveries. But it worked out for us in our favor, and also it's something that's good that we can also continue later on. Now that we know it's not, so it kind of worked out for the best. It was a good thing, and it was also just at a bad time,
There was a lot of confusion for everybody, but when it started to clear up a bit, how helpful did you find the City of New London?
The City of New London was very helpful. I mean, they've been supportive of us since day one, so we love New London. I mean, they're born and raised here. I'm not, but I've been here over 18 years, so I'm a New London Weller. So,
but plus we know people that are in positions in the city that are also friends. So whatever information they found out, they would tell us. So that was being helpful, and I guess just knowing the right people.
A lot of the liquor reps that I deal with sent me a lot of information, which was good too, like the guideline packets and stuff like that, that I was struggling to try to find, get a hold of, but they helped me a lot too.
You're a female-owned business and also a minority-owned business as well. Often we hear stories that they do not get the support and resources that white business owners get. Was that the case for you?
Yes and no. I think it being a minority and a woman as well, it makes it a little bit more difficult. I think the resources are there, but it's just harder to get a hold of and get a grasp of. And a lot of things are easier for, I guess, white people to, get past. And because when we were doing the liquor license, it took forever. And I'm not saying it's just because I'm black, but, it just I'm sure it'd be a lot easier for somebody else just to go up to zoning and, get things signed and this and that. But like she said, we do know a lot of people in high places, so it did make it a lot easier for us to get that information and stuff like that. But I can see how it can be a lot hurtful to others, and And I kind of don't play that, so I like push. I'm like, you're not going to push me back. Like, I'm pushing, so I'll find a way to figure it out.
Did you find yourself helping your other black business owner friends as well? Because, like you said, you weren't necessarily getting what you wanted, but thankfully you were in a position to know some people in the city.
If I had friends in that, because I think there's only two of us, two black-owned, like, restaurants. So, but if anyone has, like, questions and stuff, like, I'm always, like, available to help and give whatever knowledge that I've known, like, from starting up business and stuff. Like, I'm always here to pass it out to everyone.
We're going to turn now to the current situation beyond COVID-19. The recent death at the hands of police of George Floyd in Minneapolis. How did that affect all of you when you saw it, and the way that it has gone across the nation and the world by way of protests?
To me, it was almost like, here's another one. That's how I personally felt. But it was something about that which I think the pot had just boiled over. And people were tired. And, it's tough to see something like that all the time, and then nothing gets done. Like, the justice just doesn't seem to be there for us the way it is for others. And I'm mixed. I'm Italian and black. So I have that, but there's a lot of wrongdoings out there, and hopefully this is something that will change that, hopefully uplift communities to stick together more instead of, being in the stereotypes.
When you saw the reaction here in New London, how did that make you feel? Because it seems to have been very positive and peaceful, but it's still a case of you need to listen to us.
It was well needed. It was timing, that's what it was more of, I guess, being that with the COVID situation going on and the timing of when it happened. It was kind of a bad timing, but it also opened up a lot of people. I think it was a better way to bring people together, even with New London. New London is a very small, it's small, but it's big as far as with heart, and it's a lot of mixed diversity. So it's mixed people all over, and everyone gets along out here. For the most part, you have racist places everywhere, and it doesn't matter where you're from. But for the most part, as far as New London, we didn't get affected by the situation with the George Floyd as far as with us, the business, but it impacted us as far as human beings. It's just seeing that things like that shouldn't go on, and for people to be heard now, it's a good thing. So, I mean, it worked out for both sides. It's unfortunate that it had to take that man to lose his life for it to open other people's eyes, but God bless his family, and just hope that it helps out in the future, and maybe that can stop other things from happening, just to avoid other things. Because now people's eyes is open, and, the police, not all police is bad. We don't ever think that all police is bad. But for the most part, if you know that it is some type of person that's in, just get rid of them, because one bad apple could spoil the bunch. So if you get rid of the bad apples, then you're good. So that's about all.
What are your thoughts on the protests? There have been a lot of young voices as well, which is nice to see as they're shouting out loud. It's time for change.
Yeah, there was a lot of young protesters there, and I'm like kind of in the middle. I'm 28, so I was happy that they were out there. We actually were kind of like a pit stop for, we were passing out waters and we had snacks. A lot of people from the community donated because our 1 year anniversary was June 6th. So we couldn't have like a party or whatever, but that was the same day as the protest. So what we figured that we would do to show our support was to pass out water to the protesters and snacks and stuff like that, because Black Lives Matter and Black business matters, and that's what we are. So we wanted to help in our way. But
Shakeem said earlier that it is a diverse city, and it's something that New London does sell itself on. But is that the reality of it? Because every city wants to say, we're diverse.
New London is definitely diverse. And as far as the people, the police are one thing, but the city and the people that make up the city, we're definitely diverse. There's all type of people that live here. So that, and they all came together for that protest, and it was actually beautiful to me. And the police got some work to do, but I don't want to talk too much about that. But yeah, we're definitely diverse. New London is. I can't say the same for the other surrounding towns, but New London definitely is. And we come together, and it's a lot different. I feel like our protest, and not knocking anyone else's protest, but I feel like ours was like, it came from the heart, and like we, you know what I'm saying? Like we
lived through this.
Yeah, we lived through it, and this is what we are. Like Waterford can do a protest, but there's only a handful of like diversity there. So it's like, yeah, you're showing your support, but like New London and even Norwich too are places where like the diversity is here, and we see the disconnect between black and white and this and that, and being treated unfairly by police and in certain situations, because there's things that I can't do out in my everyday life because I'm a black business owner, and it'll, you know, like shed a different type of light on me being a professional. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as other people can do other things and it doesn't matter. So, and that's just everyday life, and that's here. And I can't say the same for other towns. I don't think that it'd be a problem for them. But it's definitely diverse, and it's a different situation in New London. We're like our own little world. We're like so small, but...
You said that the police is one issue. We're not going to go down that route as you've requested. But what else does the city need to do to start making amends to the black and brown community, to equalise out and basically say, yeah, we recognise you are part of our community? So what are some of the things you feel they really need to start changing?
Well, I'm glad that they took that statue down. That was a start. I don't know what else.
Harassment for no reason.
Yes.
I mean, when we first got here.
One of our employees just got harassed yesterday.
Yeah. But like, just like the parking. Like anyone would park there. We rent this building. This is our restaurant. But every day we're coming out. We have tickets on our cars. And it's like, we own, you know, we're here. I don't think that's being done in other businesses. You know that's the owner. You know that's their car. Why are you giving them a ticket? This is their restaurant. So it's just little things. It's the way I've been spoken to when I would have to, you know, if there's something outside and I need it to be outside for, and the police are there, and me speaking as a woman first, business owner, there's no respect. And I felt it, and it bothered me. And I spoke about it, but I just moved on from it, because you're supposed to be here to protect and serve me, not treat me as if I'm wrong. I'm the owner of this place. So, you know, it's just a disconnect on a lot. Communication, respect. And we're not disrespectful people. We're not, you know. So we just want the same respect everyone else gets. That's all we want.
How fed up are you with the stereotypes that white people always have and give about the black community in this country?
Very. And especially, like I said, my mother is Italian. My father is black. I was raised with my father's side of the family, so that's what I relate. I mean, you look at me, you're saying, that's a black woman. That's what I'm looked at as. I can go both ways and, you know, feel two different ways, but being black is what really, just because we're just fed up. It's, you know, it's not, we don't want nothing handed to us. We're not looking for free handouts. We want the equal, just to feel that.
For things
You
to
know
be
what I
equal,
mean? Like,
because it shouldn't be like if something happens to, like, if the same type of situation, because there's bar fights and bar crowds and everything in every establishment. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, anything. So, but it's just, it gets treated, it gets handled differently. It's like from 0 to 100, and the sole reason is because we're black, or the people that are, this business is black, and then the people that are there are black. And that's what's not fair. It's like, as soon as the cops can be outside, but if there's things going on and it's like a group of white kids or a group of other kids, yes, they might go over there and, you know, might break it up, but it's not as so forceful if that stuff happens here, they barge in here and, demand our liquor license and write us up and just do unnecessary thing when the situations are handled already. Yeah. So, because we even got written up last year for something that was already handled and it wasn't even an issue, and it's like they take the extra extent to try to jab us, and it's already so hard to have this. So on top of that, we have to fight with the people that are supposed to be protecting our business and protecting the people. We got to push through not only just opening, but we have to push through the police too. And it's just we're tired of fighting. How long? It's if you get into a fight, how long can you fight for? You're tired, you're out of breath, and you get exhausted. You can't do it anymore, and then that's when people give up. We're not gonna give up, but it's just tiring. And I'm like he said, it sucks that someone had to pass away. He had to lose his life for it to shed a light for everyone. But there's no way, and I don't see how other people don't see it, how you can see that video or any of the videos that are out there and think that that's okay for anyone to do that for anyone, anyone, period. I don't care if he was, I don't see why you think because he's brown that it's okay. And that's where I think the problem is, and I don't know what's going to take other people to see that, because people shouldn't be treated like that, period, at all. That's not what cops are for. Cops are supposed to, they're supposed to, you're supposed to arrest people if they break the law, so that's what you do. Just because you want to beat on them because, I don't know, maybe they have a felony, or maybe you don't like them or you feel like that's justified, that's not your job and that's not fair. If you wanted to beat up people, you should be a UFC fighter.
There are so many issues that need to be looked at and corrected, and that's going to take time. I think everybody can recognise it's not going to change overnight, although change is happening. But educating people, because we can look at history in this country and my country, and we're not taught the real history of the countries we live in. And you can hear it again because of the recent George Floyd situation, with a situation in Tulsa, which so many Americans have said we didn't know anything about that. So do you think that we need to be brave and start educating people on the true history of the country that they live in?
Yes, of course.
I think that's why we're here now.
Right.
Because that history has always been withheld. Mm-hmm. So if they would have, then maybe people wouldn't feel the way they feel. Right. Maybe people wouldn't I don't know, because there's some people that just don't understand when we say the privilege. There's a privilege. I mean, but a lot of people don't think. They think everyone gets this. Everyone, right? No, everyone doesn't get this. And it's not because I have a past or I have a criminal history. I don't. It's just because they chose not to, because I'm something else. And, so that is hopefully what's going to change. People you can't ignore it. Slavery was a real thing. People were treated like, can I say it? Shit. Really bad. So.
I mean, the reality is people are not born racist. It's something that they're taught.
No, they're taught. They are taught. I watched a video. It touched my heart. And it was a guy, and he's showing his son 4 pictures. Every picture had a white child and a black child. He's asking the son, what do you see? What's different? That's a girl and that's a boy. What else do you see different? That picture has grass. That never one time did he say, that kid's black and that kid's white. Never said it. The kid's looking and the father's still pushing him. What do you see different? Never once did he say that. The father said, thank you. All right, go back in the room. But he was never, if you don't teach, if you don't make your child feel that there's a difference or you should treat someone different, they're not going to grow up with that in them. So we may have things that we need to work on as well as black people, the way we are. I don't think we're racist in that way, but stereotypes, of course, we all have them. So it's about what you do with those stereotypes. I don't think because you're, you know what I mean, something, I'm not going to assume that you drink tea or, you know what I'm saying? Those are all stereotypes. You may not like tea. But it's the same thing with, we're not lazy. We're all not this. We're all not, you know what I mean? So people are people. You have bad people no matter what color. Just treat them the same way.
On a slightly different note, but it's still about what we're talking about. Today it came out that, and I know you're busy people, so you may not have had time to read about this, but Aunt Jemima pancake syrup and Uncle Ben's rice are to be rebranded by the companies that make them. How important is something like that?
Well, if you look at where the original box looked like, they did try to change it, but it was definitely blackface. I mean, that's a thing that definitely needs to go away. It should have never been that way. But, and then when you have people that don't understand how insensitive it is to dress up Halloween and do black, it's very insensitive. You know, like, I'll look at it, I'm not from that generation, but I have people that, you know, so yeah, that might hurt someone to open up a box and here they see this, and that's Aunt Jemima on the box or Uncle, you know, so hopefully they'll get it.
All of these things are important, and it looks like people are taking notice. I want to put this question to you. Many companies are now coming out with statements in support of Black Lives Matter. How genuine do you feel that some of that is? Because a lot of the commentary is saying, yeah, it's all very well for these companies to say it, but it's coming across as rather disingenuous to the actual black community because they're just saying it because it's the right thing to say right now.
That's how I feel. If you weren't screaming it before this happened, or you didn't show that Black Lives Matter before, to me, yeah, because you're saving your business or you're, you know, just making yourself look clean in the situation. So
I feel like some of them
are.
Yeah, I feel like some of them obviously are, you know, just trying to put that stamp on so they don't kind of get backlash from it. But it's kind of like you can say what you want, but like, what are you doing? Like, I seen something about Starbucks. They did something. They said you can't wear a Black Lives Matter shirt or something, and but then they had like this whole thing to try to, you know, like come back from that, like, oh, we're making shirts or something like that. Right there is like you just messed yourself up like with that. But like I seen Amazon, they had one, and I wouldn't see how it would be kind of black and white with Amazon because it's kind of like an online thing. Yeah. So,
but I mean, NFL.
Right, the NFL, no, they jumped on the bandwagon
that,
because...
to me, was a prime example of...
What they said, Black Lives Matter? I don't know. I don't know what they did, but I know that they were giving Kaepernick a hard time for kneeling, so now you're...
But that's what I mean.
Yeah, in that instant, yes, you're just doing anything just to, you know, kind of jump on the bandwagon. But if you're going to say Black Lives Matter, then I guess do something, you know. Show it, and, you know, hire in black employees and, you know, not make it hard for them to obtain jobs because they have, like, felonies, or just anyone can have a felony. It's just a whole lot of things that they just make black people just hard to do, like. And I don't want to sound like a broken record and like, oh, I feel bad for us, but no. Like it's the reality, and it's sad that like when we raise our kids that we have to tell them to do certain things and like be a certain way, so like police don't bother you, or like you're not looked at in a setting like an animal because that's how people are viewing you.
This is my last question, and thank you all for your time today. How hopeful are you that change will now happen? Because we've not seen protests at this level ever.
So I am very hopeful because, like you said, to see not just here in America, they are in other countries. And, you know, if this is like the beginning of I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm a mixed person. Like, the world is full of so many different people. Like, who wants to live somewhere where there's just one rate? Like, that is just boring. Wouldn't it be? What do you have to learn from? What do you like, I don't know. I hope it all works out. I hope everyone gets what they want, and I just hope it gets better.
Yeah, well, I feel the same. I hope for equality, and That's where we are. Yeah.
And my thanks to Jonye Phillips, Tondra Bryant, and Shakim Utla, owners of the Green Room restaurant and bar in the City of New London, for their interview. Time now for a look at some of the other stories making the headlines in the region recently. And in the day this week, multiple stories about the New London Police Department. City Police said they encountered a large hostile crowd last weekend after receiving more than a dozen reports of loud parties, fireworks and a grass fire in an area of the city. When officers arrived, they soon found themselves outnumbered by a crowd of around 150 to 250 people. Police said it appeared that individuals were attempting to bait the NLPD units into a confrontation by surrounding some of the police cruisers and throwing items and spitting at them. No arrests were made. And later in the week, the New London Police Department were called to a Family Dollar store after concerns that a group of people outside may have had a gun. Officers arrived and found several young black youths making a music video, but one of the young men later complained about how he had been treated by the police and how they had all been asked to put their hands up and were frisked. A spokesman for the NLPD said that emotions were still running high in the city after the recent death of George Floyd at the hands of police in Minneapolis. In the Norwich Bulletin, the City Council unanimously approved a new location in Mohegan Park for a playing course that blends golf and flying discs. The 9-hole disc golf course is now slated for a site on Mohegan Park Road in the woods next to Field Pavilion. It replaces a previous proposal that would have established the course off Wilderness Road on the periphery of the area cleared for the failed Chelsea Botanical Gardens project. Opponents of the original course location argued the land should be left undisturbed so it can grow again. They also expressed concerns about parking. Alderwoman Stacey Gould, a member of the Mohegan Park Improvement and Development Advisory Committee, said the new location adjacent to the open pavilion solves those issues. And in the Chronicle this week, the Hebron School District has created a re-entry team to plan for the new school year come this fall. The team, which is composed of administrators, teachers, Board of Education members and parents, will meet throughout the summer to discuss a reopening plan since the coronavirus has kept schools closed from mid-March into June. Students have been distance learning since the pandemic began. Hebron's Superintendent Thomas Baird said in an open letter posted online to parents, "We will be studying guidelines from the Connecticut Department of Education after they are released, while working with the Chatham Health District to ensure we are doing everything possible to reduce the risk COVID-19 poses to our students and staff." And staying on the education theme, and Wyndham High School grads quietly but proudly ended their high school careers on Wednesday. The school had a virtual commencement ceremony Wednesday evening that was broadcast live on the local access channel as well as on YouTube. As part of the day, they stopped at the high school for their diploma and pictures individually, either before or after the virtual ceremony. School officials announced late last month the 146th graduation will be held virtually because of the coronavirus. All Wyndham schools have been closed to students since the middle of March. During her address to students, acting Wyndham Superintendent of Schools, Tracy Youngberg, capitalised on the unique time students and staff are living through in her speech titled, "All I Really Need to Know I Learned from the COVID-19 Pandemic." Something none of us will be forgetting too soon. And congratulations, of course, to everyone who graduated this year. That's all from us for this edition. Do send us your questions and story ideas to the show via our website at connecticut-east.com or Facebook or Twitter at Connecticut East, where you can also listen to the show again on demand. And please like, follow and share on your social media platforms too. I'm Brian Scott Smith, and thank you for listening.